10. Major Richard Sharp, late commander of the joint 95th King's Own, the chosen men, watched the canvas of the tent of the captain of the 60th Rifles move aside. William Frederickson adjusted his eye patch, though he had eschewed his wig, his eyeline on the group of tents at the far of the encampment. Sharp ambled over, leaning against the tent frame, watching where he was watching. "She is going to America," Frederickson said, watching as the remainder of his privates finished the tedious task of decamping, packing up cloth, pole, wood and twine, all headed back to London, all to be stored till it was needed again, all too soon, in Sharp's experience. "Aye. She has some business there." But, while Sharp might have expected sorrow, melancholy on the man's face, though how would he tell with his so many displaced bones, he felt sure that he saw hope there, contentment. And when the soldier Tom Wright appeared, shouldering her load, there was no doubt. Sharp realized that the captain had noticed he was looking at him. "She's coming to Dortmund when the business is completed. I asked her to marry me last night, Richard." "Aye? Did she accept?" Sharp turned his head, in interest. "She said she would give me her answer when she returns." Dear sweet William. Had that usually astute, matter-of-fact captain, lawyer in training deceived himself? She may never come to Prussia. He had been jilted once before. Sharp remembered their flight over French countryside to extricate themselves from the accusation of the theft of Bonaparte's gold. And, of course, there had been Lucille. However, thought Sharp, as he shifted between feet, he was almost certain that it had been Tom Wright he had seen leaving Frederickson's tent just before dawn. Perhaps his friend had every reason for confidence. "And you are happy she accompany me, then, on her way to Le Havre?" "Of course. Why not? We are at peace. It is 1814 and the war against Bonaparte is won." He leaned towards his friend, and added, "Sotto voce, you have your woman. I thank you for it." And then, Frederickson smiled, a real smile before striding out towards Roberta Haycock. 88,888,888. 3 letters arrived at a farm in the north of France. Major Sharp scanned the envelope, looking for any clues of the sender. Lucille, her near-term stomach pressing into his back, leaned over and stroked Sharp's forearms. "Ha! It's from Frederickson," he laughed, flapping out the carefully folded leaf. "He has his father's estate in order and, as predicted, is working with widows of the wars to claim what is due to them. The French have deserted the Rhineland." Lucille leaned over to him and kissed his cheek. "Does he say of Roberta?" Sharp scanned the letter, and shook his head. "Only that he is awaiting her return." "Do you believe that she will?" Sharp eased her gently into his lap and smiled. "I don't know. When he was here, and intended to ask you to marry him, it was reported he was killed. She was ruined by the news, had her belongings packed, refused to listen to reason, not even from Matt Harris, and was set to go." "To America?" "Aye. Maybe." She kept sure quiet about her reasons for going, even when she boarded the frigate. "British, mind. They have business of their own, in the south. Got to keep the cotton coming. She did ask me a good deal about him, mind. Then, I think that she has him in her mind." She reached up and kissed his neck. Sharp smiled, and kissed her lips in return. "What do the other letters say?" "Dunno. Let's see." He leaned her forwards and reached for the second. The second, with the handsome seal of Horse Guards, was torn open. Sharp unfolded the rich, heavy paper. He read it, then read it again. "Recall," he spat, crumpling up the paper. "Recall? Aye. Back to the army. But 2 months ago Napoleon was exiled." "Aye, well. I'm not going. I'm a farmer now. They've had enough of me to last a lifetime." He shuffled over and seized the other. "Pat," he said, looking at the third. Ramona and he had settled in Andalusia, close to where Ramona came from. He could never go back to Ireland, he said, not with a Spanish wife. In Sharap's opinion, as long as she prayed the same as the Irish population, they would welcome her with open arms to aid in the fight to expel the Antichrist Protestants. He was re-enlisting, and wanted to know if Richard was too. "Bugger," he said, crumpling the paper.